As the doctor's shift draws to a close, I'd bump into people I know from Axo Hospital when I'm waiting in the hospital corridor for Zayne to return from checking in with one of his patients. Zayne's birthday is coming up, and I use this opportunity to ask them about how Zayne celebrated his birthday before.
2 years ago, there was an emergency operation on Dr. Zayne's birthday. He worked all night. If I'm not mistaken, the same thing happened last year, right? He was working overtime in the operating room.
I checked Dr. Zayne's schedule for you. Looks like he'll be spending his birthday this year in the operating room again.
I'm not surprised. For Zayne, helping people and saving lives is more important. Of course, I understand why. However, I can't help but feel a little sad. It only happens once a year. I still want to give him an unforgettable birthday, no matter what. Seeing my expression, Yvonne and Grayson look sympathetic.
The chief surgeon's schedule is very packed.
If push comes to shove, you may have to reschedule any plans you have for that day, but you can have dinner with him at least.
What are you talking about? Are you going to have dinner together?
While I'm lost in thought, Zayne, who finished his work, walks over to us. And no. We were talking about the new restaurant that just opened nearby.
Ah, right. I'm grabbing dinner with some friends. I need to get going.
Oh, the head nurse was asking for me just now. We'll talk later.
They wink at me before running away.
So, did you decide what you're having for dinner?
Zayne walks up to me, a spark of curiosity in his eyes.
Well, we have a doctor whose shift just ended. He's hungry, has no plans tonight, and none of his colleagues want to hang out with him.
I take a step and grab his right hand. But just as I'm about to speak, I notice the fleeting, pained expression on his face. What's wrong? Where does it hurt? Zayne shakes his head, gives me a reassuring smile, and presses his right wrist with his left hand.
Let's talk in my office. I'm okay. I suspect it's simply an instance of tenosynovitis.
Is it serious? What kind of treatment do you need?
Don't worry. It's merely a guess, not a real diagnosis. I just need to rest. That's why I'll be staying at home for the next few days.
My worry from earlier changes into excitement when I learn he'll be at home. If Zayne is taking a few days off, that means he'll have time to celebrate his birthday.
Wait here. I need to get some documents to take home.
You still have work to do?
Not really. They're just regular files.
I put my hand on top of his as he's picking up those papers. If it's not urgent, just leave it here. Taking work home doesn't count as resting. His hand pauses, and then he silently lets go of the documents.
All right. I won't bring any with me.
I can't believe Zayne doesn't resist. Docile, he follows me out of the office. Once we're in the car, I find myself wanting to tease him. You're so cooperative today. Is there a catch? As I speak, my fingers glide over his coat pocket. The corners of Zayne's mouth curl up as he slowly raises his hands.
What should I do to regain some credibility? Will a thorough body search suffice?
You're the one who works overtime on your birthday every year. Not to mention, you bring home work like it's normal. You're dedicated to your profession, Dr. Zayne. But doesn't taking a break help with work performance? My hands slip into his pockets. I take this chance to grab his waist and squeeze it.
Is this the standard protocol for a hunter's body search?
I usually deal with wanderers. As for this, I only do it to one person. My hands slide out of his pockets and touch his back.
What sort of clothing would have pockets on one's back?
This is my special technique. Do you have a problem with it, Dr. Zayne? A hint of playfulness appears in his eyes as he leans in. My hands are able to touch him even more.
Not at all. Your technique is methodical. It's very reassuring.
Being so close to each other, we lock eyes. The warmth in our gazes inadvertently intensifies. All right, you're good to go. No suspicious items here. When I move back, Zayne suddenly grabs my hand.
Surely, I'm not the only one who needs to be checked.
With his other hand, he taps a corner of my mouth.
Ever since someone heard I would be required to rest for a few days, a smile has been glued to her face.
Was it that obvious? I can't reveal my plan now. I've been thinking about visiting you to make sure you're actually resting.
You'll be doing it every day then?
Is that not okay? Zayne's tone becomes noticeably more cheerful.
It's exactly what I wanted.
The next day, afternoon sunlight filters through the sheer curtains. A soft, hazy light creates a tranquil atmosphere in the living room. I'm sitting next to Zayne, massaging his wrist with techniques I learned online. They supposedly can alleviate tenosynovitis. Is this okay? Should I be more gentle?
It's good. Perfect, in other words.
Great. Staying up all night to practice on Fleecy wasn't in vain, then. I basically needed the stuffing out of it.
My hand won't meet the same fate as the Fleecy, correct?
I unconsciously use a bit more force. Isn't that better than actually getting tenosynovitis? As I continue my massage, my mind starts to think about something else. Aside from supervising Zayne's rest, I'm also here to look for an idea for his birthday present. I watched an interview last night where someone went around and asked, "What was the most unforgettable present you've received?" The answers were all over the place, though. Ahem. So, how would you respond to that question? Zayne lowers his eyes to look at me. The moment he's about to say something,
Mr. Zayne, correct? Here's your international parcel. Please sign for it.
Thank you.
Zayne returns to the living room with the package in his arms. It appears to be very heavy.
It's from my parents. I believe this should be my birthday present.
Unexpectedly, the words birthday present come out of his mouth. It seems like my plan was doomed from the start. I honestly thought you were the type to be so busy that you'd forget your own birthday.
I used to rely on the gifts my parents sent to serve as a reminder.
He pauses, and a hint of amusement flickers across his face.
This year, however, someone has been giving me early reminders. She's also been more proactive about it compared to my parents, so it's been impossible for me to forget.
I guess my attempt at beating around the bush is just a blatant clue to Zayne.
Are you still curious about my answer to that interview question?
Zayne takes out a wooden box from the back of his closet. It's filled with a variety of gifts from various countries. Are these all from your parents? Zayne's parents, members of doctors worldwide, can always be found in the most perilous locations all over the world.
They've developed a habit of collecting local specialties and sending them to me a few days before my birthday. Sometimes, it's only through these presents that I know where they've been.
I flip over a small card that's hanging from the ear of a colorful, winged elephant. It says, "Colorful elephants chase away the monsters in your nightmares."
It represents a mythical creature from that region's folklore.
Were you also afraid of nightmares when you were little? How cute. Do you still have nightmares even with this colorful elephant as your guardian? A fleeting darkness reveals itself in Zayne's eyes. But before I can react, his gentle smile dispels the gloom.
Nightmares can't be chased away. I simply stopped fearing the monsters that lurk in them.
This astronomical clock badge is pretty. The blue hippo is really, really cute, too. Zayne opens the parcel and pulls out a somewhat worn, black wood carving. It looks to be a plant-like totem.
My father wrote about this. He said an old chieftain carved it. It's to bless children so they grow up healthy. But I'm already an adult. How can I still grow?
In your parents' eyes, you'll always be a child. The dazzling gifts before me only make it more difficult to find the answer I'm looking for. I decided to ask him directly. Among all these gifts, which one would you consider unforgettable?
Each item here represents a story. It's not so much about the gift itself being memorable.
Zayne caresses the gifts inside the box, thinking about something.
When I was younger, on my birthday, my parents said to me, "The blessing given to you by the first stranger you meet on your birthday will come true and last for one whole year." They also took me to socialize with strangers on my birthday.
And then what? Did a stranger bless you? Did their blessing last a whole year? Seeing the curious look on my face, he laughs and ruffles my hair.
Now that I think about it, I think it's possible my parents just wanted me to socialize. I preferred to be alone as a child. To be honest, I don't quite remember if anyone has ever blessed me on my birthday, but I always held on to the sentiment. Perhaps it's because they couldn't be by my side for several years after that.
Zayne's gaze returns to the photo that's attached to the gifts. He's seemingly captivated by it. I stay quiet, knowing full well he misses his family. And I've already decided what gift to give Zayne. I want Zayne to receive a blessing from the first stranger he meets on his birthday. Taking advantage of the hospital's lunch break, I sit with Yvonne and Grayson in the corner of the cafeteria to strategize.
Ooh, are you throwing a birthday party? Can we join? We've always wanted to celebrate Zayne's birthday.
I do have a few spots in mind. I'd appreciate it if you could let me know what you think about them. I swipe through the photos on my phone and show them various scenic spots I chose.
I've been to that villa before. It's nice.
A friendly voice comes from above. Holding a tray, a doctor with a wide smile stands at the table.
Do you mind if I join you guys? I never celebrated Zayne's birthday before.
This is Dr. Riley from Pediatrics. He's also well acquainted with Dr. Zayne.
Dr. Riley sits across from us and starts a conversation while we eat.
The mountain air is fresh, and the autumn scenery is very beautiful. The villa has a lot of utilities too. It's perfect for hosting parties.
If we're okay with that place, I'll be happy to drive everyone there.
Then I'll prepare the decorations we'll need for the party.
And I'll order the birthday cake. All of us have our tasks now. To facilitate communication, I create a new chat group called Party Planning Pros. The next day, I successfully made a reservation, but while the party venue issue is solved, there's still one thing on my mind. How can I make sure Zayne receives a blessing from the first stranger he meets? I think and think as I go for a stroll in the forest near the villa. Sunlight seeps in through the gaps between the tree branches. Suddenly, a vintage food truck appears. From a flash of inspiration, an idea pops into my mind. Excuse me, can I rent out your truck on September 5th? It will just be for that morning. In the evening, Zayne invited me to have dinner with him at a restaurant near his place. The thought of the surprise I prepared puts me in a good mood. When you asked if I had time to eat, I thought you were talking about eating at home.
At first, I was planning to cook, but then I'd probably be scolded for not resting.
Aren't you used to eating alone, Dr. Zayne? Why aren't you doing it now?
You know the answer to that.
He pushes the dish I like toward me, his expression tinged with concern.
Were you busy with today's missions? Will having dinner together make you feel more exhausted?
Lincoln City has been pretty peaceful lately, so I figured I'd use that time to find a place where you can truly relax and recuperate. Prepare yourself. We'll be going there September 4th. Zayne instantly understands the implications behind my words. His gaze is filled with mirth.
All right. I'll follow the doctor's orders in that case.
We set off for the villa the day before Zayne's birthday, and the party lasts until it's nighttime. As midnight approaches, I hold a little cake I made and walk into Zayne's room. Zayne stands on the balcony. Hearing me open the door, he turns around. It will soon be September 5th, but there's one last thing we should do. I place the cake on a small, round table on the balcony. As I'm about to cut it, he gently grabs my wrist.
How can someone be this quiet before cutting a birthday cake?
I already took care of everything that needed to be done during the party. We can. The hand holding my wrist tightens its grip, which stops me from continuing.
This cake represents something else for me.
He looks at me, his gaze almost burning a hole through me, as if he's hoping I'd give an answer.
Is there anything you'd like to say before we eat the cake?
The clock strikes midnight. It's officially September 5th. I initially planned to save my words for the surprise at dawn, but the look on his face moves me. I want to meet his expectations and give him the answer he's longed for. I asked your colleagues, and they said that for the past few years, you've spent your birthday working. I pick up a match on the table and strike it so I could light the candles on the cake. It might be normal for doctors, especially for someone like you since your parents are also doctors. And maybe for you, your birthday isn't as important as helping people and saving lives. In the flickering candlelight, Zayne and I exchange a look. But for me, your birthday is a very important day. It's one I don't want to miss. Although people say you shouldn't share your birthday wish, it'd be nice if you told me yours.
Will you make it come true if I do?
I'll try my best.
Thank you, but my wish is already in the process of coming true.
The candles might have been blown out, but their flickering light is etched into Zayne's eyes.
I prefer listening to you sing happy birthday. You promised me that I wouldn't miss another birthday. Does this mean I'll hear you sing happy birthday every year now?
Happy birthday, Dr. Zayne.
Dr. Zayne?
I still have more to say. Under the table, my right hand takes his left hand. Happy birthday, Zayne. From now on, I'll be by your side to celebrate your birthday. Every year. Zayne smiles and gently touches my cheek with his right hand.
I'll hold you to your word. From now on, you must be by my side for my birthday.
Then his gaze lands on the cake.
Did you bake it yourself?
What do you think?
I like it. I like it a lot.
It's as though he's looking at a treasure.
You were busy planning the party and baking the cake. It must have been exhausting. And I just lounged around.
I cup his cheek and lean in to look into his eyes. Even if you are a doctor, you don't need to be responsible for everything. I hope that when you're just Zayne, you'll give others a chance to take care of you.
Such as right now.
I nod. He moves closer to me. As our breaths mingle, Zayne slightly opens his mouth, joy twinkling in his eyes.
Then can you feed me? Please.
I take a spoonful of cake and feed it to Zayne. He purses his lips, and I can't help but feel nervous. Well, is it sweet enough for you?
It's delicious. However, it could be sweeter.
What? How? I even added extra sugar. It was a lot more than what the recipe called for. Incredulous, I try the cake myself. How is this cake not sweet enough? A bit of mischief flashes in Zayne's eyes.
Whether something is sweet or not is a subjective matter. Perhaps it's because I already tasted something sweeter.
I can't help but smile. Then I purposefully pretend to act serious. How troublesome. Zayne pauses.
What's the matter?
It's tough to go from gourmet desserts to simple ones. I guess it'll be hard to find sweets that can satisfy your cravings in the future. Zayne smiles again, takes my hand, and hugs me.
Indeed. I'll have to rely on you when I want to eat something sweet.
He lowers his head and nuzzles me, his nose touching the side of my face.
Only when we're together do I taste the most satisfying sweetness.